Super important to me. And if I believe on the longest time frame, and I really here I'm thinking of a time frame of a couple hundred years. So over many decades, I believe, and I get increasing conviction with this with every passing year, the Blue Origin, the space company, is the most important work I'm doing. And so there is a whole plan first of all, of course, I'm interested in space because I'm passionate about it and I've been studying it and thinking about it since I'm a 5-year-old boy. But that is not why I'm pursuing this work. I'm pursuing this work because I believe if we don't, we will eventually end up with a civilization of stasis, which I find very demoralizing. I don't want my great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren to live in a civilization of stasis. We all enjoy a dynamic civilization of growth and change, and let's think about what powers that. We are not really energy constrained, and so let me give you just a couple of numbers. If you take your body, your metabolic rate as a human, as just an animal, you eat food, that's your metabolism, you burn about 100 watts. Your power, your body is about 100, it's the same as a 100-watt light bulb. We're incredibly efficient. Your brain is about 60 watts of that. Amazing. And so, but if you extrapolate in developed countries where we use a lot of energy, on average in developed countries, our civilizational metabolic rate is 11,000 watts. So if in a natural state, where we're animals, we're only using 100 watts. In our actual developed world state, we're using 11,000 watts, and it's growing. For a century or more, it's been compounding at a few percent a year, our energy usage as a civilization. Now, if you take baseline energy usage globally, across the whole world, and compound it at just a few percent a year for just a few hundred years, you have to cover the entire surface of the Earth in solar cells. So that's the real energy crisis, and it's happening soon. And by soon, I mean within just a few hundred years. And so we don't actually have that much time. So what can you do? Well, you can have a life of stasis where you cap how much energy we get to use. You have to work only on efficiency. By the way, we've always been working on energy efficiency, and still we grow our energy usage. It's not like we have been squandering energy. We have been getting better at using it with every passing decade, and still we grow it. So stasis would be very bad, I think. Now, take the alternative scenario where you move out into the solar system. The solar system can easily support 1 trillion humans. And if we had 1 trillion humans, we would have 1,000 Einsteins and 1,000 Mozarts, and unlimited, for all practical purposes, resources from solar power and so on. Why not? That's the world that I want my great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren to live in. And by the way, I believe that we will move all heavy, in that time frame, we will move all heavy industry off of Earth, and Earth will be zoned residential and light industry. And it will basically be a very beautiful planet. We have sent robotic probes to every planet in this solar system now. And believe me, this is the best one.
But when can
it is not even close.
But Jeff, when can I buy the first ticket to do a little space
tour?
tour?
We're going to be, so the first tourism vehicle will, we won't be selling tickets yet, but we may put humans in it at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year.
So it's very concrete.
And then we're getting very close. We've been working on it for more than 10 years. And we're building a very large orbital vehicle. We've been working on that for more than 5 years. It'll fly for the first time in 2020. And the key is reusability. So you mentioned it. We cannot, this civilization I'm talking about of, getting comfortable living and working in space and having millions of people and then billions of people and then finally 1 trillion people in space, you can't do that with space vehicles that you use once and then throw away. It's a ridiculous, costly way to get into space.
So what does money mean for you, being the first person in history that has a net worth of 3-digit amount of billion?
The only way that I can see to deploy this much financial resource is by converting my Amazon winnings into space travel. So that's basically, Blue Origin is expensive enough to be able to use that fortune. And I'm currently liquidating about $1 billion a year of Amazon stock to fund Blue Origin. And I plan to continue to do that for a long time. So, and because you're right, you're not gonna spend it on like a second, dinner out. There's no, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm very lucky because I feel like I have a mission-driven purpose with Blue Origin that is, I think, incredibly important for civilization long-term. And I am going to use my financial lottery winnings from Amazon to fund that.
The fact that this is a lifelong dream now realized, the success of this mission, what does that mean for you, and what does it also mean for this company that you have built and funded, Blue Origin?
Well, this is the first step. This is a tiny little step of what Blue Origin is going to do, and what we're really trying to do is build reusable space vehicles. It's the only way to build a road to space, and we need to build a road to space so that our children can build the future. And what that's all about is this planet, and you can see it when we're up there. You see how tiny this planet's atmosphere is. Here it seems big. You look around, it's all around you, and but it's really this small thing supporting all life. So we need to take all polluting industry, all heavy industry, and move it off Earth. This is going to take many decades, but that's what we can do if we have reusable space vehicles. And so this suborbital tourism mission lets us practice that. So we need to do that over and over and over and get as good at running space vehicles as we are as a civilization at running commercial airliners. And then we can have, this dynamic civilization of the future, a better world for all of our kids.
Yeah, just to dig into that a little bit more as well, you're an innovator. You're known throughout the business world for quite literally revolutionizing the way people live on a daily basis. So how does that process, I guess, carry out or manifest over the coming decades from a space perspective?
Well, there's New Shepard, which is what Alan Shepard did, and the next thing we're working on is called New Glenn. And New Glenn is a reusable vehicle for orbital space travel. So that's the very next step as far as Blue Origin is concerned. And really though, we need to build the infrastructure. When Amazon started, we didn't have to build a package delivery network. It already existed. That was infrastructure. And if you want to be a space entrepreneur today, you have to do everything from the very beginning. There's no real infrastructure that's at an affordable cost. So that's what we have to do, is build that kind of infrastructure, and then future generations will get to rest on top of it.
It's a bold vision, it's an ambitious vision. How much of your...
And it's also fun.
And it's fun.
We had so much fun today.
But I'm curious, how much of your time are you now dedicating to this vision?
Well, I have, since I stepped down as the CEO of Amazon, I have a lot of time to dedicate to this vision. So I'm going to split my time between this and the Bezos Earth Fund, which is the Climate Sustainability Foundation.
Okay, let's get to the fun stuff. Best part of this flight?
Best part? That's all of it, yes?
Yeah, all of it. As I said, I think my favorite part was the first 11 minutes of the flight. It's basically from launch to landing.
Tell what you told me in the car about zero-G. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I thought that was well said.
It was. I was surprised once we were in zero-G. I was surprised at how effortless it was to move around, how naturally it came. I thought that it would be a little more awkward and I'd be flailing around a little more, but it was really just incredibly natural just to move around.
It almost felt like we were evolved.
I know.
It was weird. It felt so comfortable and natural and not alien and beautiful, floating, free.